Today I'm attempting a start at Kevin Zucker's 1809, the Napoleon's Danube campaign. Perhaps you can see here it's a very long map. It's laid out on a board that spans a normal bed. It's normally under the spare bed here. The map actually extends over the edge. That's just the charts, the reinforcement charts, terrain charts, etc. But so we have a very long map, unusual setup, and you also have a force display, so Austrian organisational display and the French organisational display. These basically show which leader counter, which of the only counters placed on the map, except for a few sort of markers, what forces they have under their command. They might have subordinate leaders, or like here they have Charles has reserve artillery. He has Hohenzollern as a subordinate leader, and this counter is marks whether his force is in extended. It's an optional rule. They can be either extended or concentrated. If they're extended, over time they lose fatigue, and if fatigue's within 1 to 4, they suffer less attrition. If they're concentrated, they gain fatigue, each gain turn at 10 points of fatigue. I can't remember what happens, but anyway, it's not good. So, generally moving forces will be extended and forces preparing for battle will be concentrated, so that'll be interesting to factor in. Now, so here's the game. Essentially what we have at the start is, historically there was the Battle of Abensberg, followed by Eckmühl, and then another one. So essentially what you have is Archduke Charles of the Austrians here with his forces, and then Napoleon's arriving this at the first game turn. He has Lefebvre, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Davout, and various major generals on the board, quickly concentrating to force back Charles's attempted attack of Napoleon. This is the Danube River, so it's the Danube campaign, because I don't know anything about the campaign really, but historically I guess what happened was that Napoleon fought them all the way back to Vienna here, and the gain is won or lost on this Vienna morale track. At the moment the Austrians have a bonus. If the Austrians ever take Regensburg here, they gain a morale point. If Archduke Charles and 20 strength points exit off here, they gain a morale point. And then they can gain morale points for killing major leaders and having major successful battles. On the other hand, the French gain morale points for getting within 7 hexes of Vienna, taking Vienna, and there might be 1 or 2 more, I can't remember. Where's it here? Okay, and if the Austrians take Regensburg, the French, if they take it back, they gain a morale point. That's sort of basically it. So the Austrians are trying to go that way, the French are trying to go that way, and there's going to be a big smash up in the middle. So the Austrian line of communications is basically running along here. Well, I say that this game is based a lot around supply, movement and attrition. This is the Austrian supply source. They have another one back there, but they want their supply source fairly close to their centre of operations so that they gain supplies and administrative points fairly, they can build them up at a nice tempo. It would be ideal to have the centre of operations here, because if it ever has to move, it can move back by river very easily. But that's kind of a limit, as according to the tables. If it was a bit further, it would have less administrative points each turn, but it can move itself to there. But anyway, so that's the Austrian centre of operations, and their forces have to be within a reasonable dispatch distance of it. I've marked on the map here, that's 20 dispatch distance points. 26 is the maximum for the Austrians, so he's out, but these are in. The French, so that's the Austrian situation basically. So I guess they'll be moving back this way. I've written some sort of vague general orders for the Austrians. Basically, they're going to. The aim is they see. As I thought, they see Napoleon coming. They're going to be moving back. They'll be looking for the opportunity for some pitched battles, taking out some major leaders. Barring that, they're basically doing a fighting retreat, and they're going to look to hold roughly halfway a line on this river and then the Danube. So the hope is to keep the French forces north and west of this area, which holds Vienna in it, and they hold a sort of line of communication here, which is important for some of their reinforcements. So historically, this time there was also like a Bavarian uprising, which means that the French, some of their units are Bavarian, so they have to stay within Bavaria, which is a line running along here, something like that. So to sort of sort out the uprising, and the Austrians had to think about their landwehr, because they have southern and northern Danubian landwehr. They have to look after their sort of entry points for those landwehren on the north and the south of the Danube. So those are all points of considerations for the Austrians. So they're generally going to try and hold that line. They'll think about blowing bridges, maybe building redoubts, although that takes 6 game turns. They have to protect Budweis. Is that where the famous beer originated? Here, because that's obviously their supply source. You can move your supply, but even if the supplies move that, it causes some penalties to them if it's taken. The French, their basic general plan, after they've smashed the Austrian forces initially, they assume they're going to do that, they're basically going to scatter, harry, and then regroup near Vienna, because the smaller your forces, the less attrition it takes. So really you want to move small forces and then group and concentrate large forces for battles. So the French supply line's here. It could have been here. Not much choice anyway, not much difference. And their centre of operations is here. Should be safe. The French have the first move, so it should be safe from this Austrian force. So that their aim is to smash these forces, drive them back, harrying them all the way, and hopefully maybe overtake them. Sort of light, fast forces scattering across the map, so nothing that the Austrians can focus a pitched battle against to gain victory points, or morale points as they're called here. And then aim for the big victory back at Vienna, big battles, morale points. So, I played the Struggle of Nations, the spring scenario, just recently, which is more or less the same system as this, although it used odd 2-hex counters and much smaller hexes. It covered a bigger area. I only used part of it for the spring campaign, and I found the system extremely interesting historically, because I think the historical research is very good. At least it gives the feeling of